I just really want to see how it feels for the clients when I can bring the Heart of Chelsea culture into a new place and they can walk in and have that experience for the first time. And then hearing them say they want to come back and they're excited about us being a staple in the Brooklyn area.
Hey everyone, I'm your host, Courtney Post, and this is Let's Vet Together by Suvetto, a show where we'll be highlighting stories of growth, ownership, and well-being in the veterinary industry and having real conversations about how we can make veterinary medicine better for everyone. If this is your first time listening, welcome. We're glad you're here. If you've already been a part of our community, make sure to follow us on whatever platform you're listening from and give us a review to let us know how we're doing. We really appreciate you for coming back. Welcome to our Let's Vet Together podcast. Today, I'm super excited to be sitting down with Dr. Andrew Torchia. I feel like this conversation is way past due, Dr. Torchia. Thank you for agreeing to come on the podcast and sharing with us your journey into not only vet med, but more recently into practice ownership. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
I am too. I will say, when I say or hear or read Dr. Andrew Torchia, I will admit that there's one thing that I think about Dr. Torchia, and that is your incredible showing at our holiday get together. Or no, it was not our holiday get together. It was the leadership summit in which you owned ping pong. So For our listeners, Dr. Torchia is a phenomenal ping pong player and brings a lot of energy and excitement. So,
and for Suvetto leadership, know that I'm working out every day. Everything I do, I have a ping pong paddle in my hand. Mark, Nathan, I'm coming for you. So just watch out.
I would expect nothing less. I mean, this is what we focus on at Suvetto. It's, supporting veterinary ownership and also bringing the heat with ping pong battles. So, if you're looking for endorsements, you might get some from me, Dr. Torchia. You guys really were a super fun team. So good. Glad to hear. Well, aside from being a phenomenal ping pong player, why don't you share with us a little bit about yourself, your journey into vet medicine, where you're from, where you went to school, and where you are now?
Okay. Well, it all began in a little town called Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, where I grew up amongst the Amish. And of course, I think my animal experience, it all comes back to mom, right? It's always mom. She does everything.
I like to hear that. So yes, it always comes back to mom.
It's always mom. She's like responsible for it all. We had so many animals growing up. We had a bunch of dogs, golden retrievers, mostly a horse, a ton of rats, hamster, gerbil. I was just surrounded by animals at all times. And I absolutely loved it. And I think my mom always knew I was supposed to be a veterinarian before I knew I was supposed to be a veterinarian, because I went through high school. I really got into theater stuff. I absolutely loved acting and singing and dancing. And that brought me to Penn State, where I was an acting major. And I was I double majored because it was like an agreement with my parents. They said, yeah, acting's great. You also really like science, so maybe you should do that too. And they were absolutely right. And at Penn State, I did acting and science. And probably one of the biggest things at Penn State was the ballroom dance team. I joined the ballroom dance competition team, where we went around America in standard and Latin dances. So, I
mean, this is Dancing with the Stars meets Let Vet Together podcast. I am here for this morning, Dr. Torchia. This is, and I also maybe understand the theatrics that you brought to the ping pong tournament a little bit more.
That might have been involved a little bit.
I understand. I'm seeing you.
If anyone at any of these summits wants to learn like rumba, cha-cha, jive, quick step, anything, you just walk up to me. We'll learn a basic.
Well,
and we'll go from there.
We might have a dance competition in addition to the ping pong tournament.
And then if I were to think about when I really started to hone in on vet med, it was mom again. I went through some medical things that were all like very easily resolved after some time, but she knew I needed to pick me up. So she actually called the vet clinic that my family had gone to for 20 years, 25 years, and got me this shadowing position when I was about 19 years old. And that was it. So I was in the OR, I was working with animals, the nicest technicians in the world, and they taught me a lot. And that skyrocketed me into the animal world. Acting was fun. It's great.
Yeah.
I like how you can do it at any age. You can be 60 years old and still be in a play. But it's really great that she helped me funnel into this career because I think it's absolutely right for me. It's my happy place.
That's incredible. So, gosh, we could do a whole other podcast about the skills that you have on stage and in how you perform and how you communicate and how you connect with an audience and what you do in an exam room. So we'll save that, put a pin in it for another time, because I think it's by no surprise that you're a great leader and that, you connect with your clients because you have that theater background. But, after that shadowing experience, what was after Penn State? What led you, where did you go to vet school and what was that experience like?
I really wanted to be clinical. It was very clinically based. So when I was applying for vet schools, I looked for the programs that seemed the most clinically based to me. And that brought me down to University of Florida. I also love the sun, so that definitely helped.
Definitely helps.
At University of Florida, they had some really beneficial programs. I graduated with at least 30 surgeries under my belt. They had a charity program, Pets Are Wonderful Support, where they let the students basically run the case and they would have someone watching you, but you got to do everything. So I had about 2 years of working as a clinician, even though I was a student, and that really set me up to be successful there. They also really prioritize a lot of the things I think Suveto prioritizes, like leadership summits, importance in communication. They would have moments where they would film you and watch you in rooms and help you get over things that were hard for you. So really helped me get ready to become a clinician right after vet school.
It's incredible. So now you're coming to us from the great state of New York. We're at opposite ends of the state right now, Dr. Torchia. So tell us a little bit about where you are now. And also, I believe you probably brought something to share with our audience as far as, what defines a little bit about who you are in your current life, what maybe is special about the area that you live in that you'd like to share with us.
Absolutely. So the coming back to New York, that was the theater thing, right? I absolutely love theater, see Broadway shows as much as possible. So it was a match made in heaven. I knew I wanted to practice here. Came here and worked in an emergency clinic, internship in emergency, and then worked there for 3 years. And I saw Heart of Chelsea records when I was working there. And I really loved and agreed with everything that they did. And that's what kind of pushed me toward that. So it really gave me a home in New York City. And then I started to discover other things. I actually have 2 things that I'm going to show you. It'll be quick.
I love it.
Okay?
Yes.
So the first thing is the New York Liberty, which is this powerful, amazing women's basketball team.
You have the whole getup.
Got the getup.
Hat and jacket. Yes.
Asked me to throw a basketball.
Can't do it.
but
number one fan.
Perform. Yeah,
and you could do a jive at the same time.
Absolutely. I actually have this hidden motive because their mascot is an elephant, Ellie the elephant, and she dances and twerks. And I want to try to be her vet and try and get and have Ellie go to the vet.
The official
They're
vet
also right next door.
Of the New York Liberty. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so that was the first thing. They're amazing. And then really quickly, you gave me an excuse to buy bagels today, so thank you. Yes. This is Bergman Bagels. And what people might not know is the water in New York City is amazing. It's really, really good water. And that's what they credit their bagels for being so good, because there are some reservoirs and springs upstate that get funneled right into the city.
Yeah, I am jealous of that, the bagel that you're going to have after this, Dr. Torchia. When in New York City, for anyone that is listening, aside, before pizza, before a show, before anything, get a bagel. It's going to be the best you've ever had.
I'll send you one.
Please. Please. I love that. So let's dive into Heart of Chelsea. So I will say that I've never heard of someone finding their their place, their community, their culture, the hospital that they've worked in and now, have become an owner in because of referral records. But that definitely has my head spinning of how important that is, of just, that your culture is and the level of medicine you practice and who you are, in the walls of that hospital should be felt everywhere, even in how you communicate your medical records to an emergency practice. So tell us a little bit about Heart of Chelsea and how long you've been there, what you saw in those records that really drew you to the practice, because, there's really a really special network in the Heart of Chelsea hospitals, and would love to hear, kind of how you found that, and if what you thought you were going to find in Heart of Chelsea is actually what you found.
It was so much more than I thought I was going to find. So yes, so I would review referral records when working in emergency because those emergency vets see everything overnight that you're not seeing. And every single case just made sense. It was like, yes, that was what you should have done. That's great. And you even wrote in the discussion section that you prepared your pet parent for what it's going to be like when they arrive here. So I actually wasn't looking, I loved my job. I wasn't looking for a job when I applied to Heart of Chelsea. I just thought I'd give it a shot. And I got to meet Mark Siebert right away. And he is absolutely one of my professional role models. And I saw how he brought me into a new puppy appointment and just watched how he interacted with a client. And then I spent the entire day, the interview turned into an entire day. And I got to shadow our chief medical director, Katja Lang, who's Wonder Woman, amazing.
Yes.
Perfection human that I also idolize. And then they walked me through the culture. Really, they're really culture forward from the beginning. They have some core values: being happy to serve, being thorough, professional, empathetic, acting like an owner, things that they use every single day. And it's a tall order to agree to those things, a big commitment. But that means it's a big payoff too. And it was. So after joining Heart of Chelsea, then I realized how much is going on in the background that people don't see. I never thought that a hospital system could be managed like this. People like Shirley Thompson and Tammy Ramsey, they are background people that are helping to facilitate the flow of the entire hospital. And everyone is just so supportive. So supportive. You can go to any single person, kind of like Soveto leadership. Every single one of you says, here's my calendar, schedule me at any time if you need to talk to me. And that's really reassuring. You don't feel like you're alone. You feel like you have a huge group behind you.
Yeah. Heart of Chelsea's culture and that like extremely tangible intentionality to how they show up for everyone in their hospital, for their clients, for, the network, it's the answer is never no. When you call Heart of Chelsea or reach out to someone at Heart of Chelsea, it's always, how can we help? How can we work together? And I'm confident that that is what your clients experience as well. I want to go back to one of the core values of acting like an owner. At what point in your career did that core value of acting like an owner start to resonate with you that maybe you wanted to be an owner?
That's such a good core value because it feels like it has so many meanings to it. Act like an owner, take ownership of what you're doing. It's kind of a little bit of a pun, acting like an owner, like this is your pet. Yeah. You take care of the pet like it's yours. I think that seeing what Dr. Siebert has built is part of what made me want to become an owner. I always had this I always wanted to live in New York. And I had this tiny little dream that someday I would end up owning a vet clinic in New York City and living above it and waking up and going downstairs with my coffee into my vet clinic. And it actually literally came true because I live above where Prospect Heights is going to be built.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, you have to manifest some of those dreams and also really identify, like your mom did for you, right? Like, what is important to you and where do your values lie and how can you emanate that throughout your life? And that is really what that Heart of Chelsea culture has brought, and now you're just an extension of that. So can you talk a little bit more about the culture part of Chelsea? I know you said that, and for those listening that don't know Dr. Siebert or Dr. Lang, I encourage you to reach out to them, meet them at leadership summits. They're incredible human beings that also just emanate all of the most incredible values that you'd want to bring to leadership, into practice ownership, and into just being really solid friends and good mentors for myself as well. But what is it about the culture that you can see? Like, if someone walks in as an owner outside of the core values, like, what are they going to see at Heart of Chelsea, from the support team to Shirley, working in the background, to you in a leadership position? Like, what is it that you've seen within that culture, and what do you want to bring to Prospect Heights?
Absolutely. It's part of more of their defined culture is our niche, which is basically concierge veterinary medicine. And it feels that way. At least we try at all times to be able to make it feel that way for a client when they walk in the door. The client is not the enemy ever. They care about their pet. They're here to do whatever they can for their pet. And we are so lucky to have those people that care so much about their animals coming to us and letting us practice the best medicine we can. And down to the training, down to the client service reps, the pet walks in the door, they're greeted by name as soon as they're there. We have bottles of water for them. The CSRs are always running, grabbing bowls for the dog so they can have some water too. Even if it's raining out, we have little umbrellas sitting on the benches and Heart of Chelsea towels waiting for them when they walk in. So they just try to think of absolutely everything they can do to make that experience good for the client. And it's so rewarding. It's just going to give them, when you hand them a towel, all you're doing is handing them a little towel, and they're just blown away that they're so excited that you care. And it's not just someone walks out and says, Fluffy.
Yeah, it's not transactional. It's so much more than a transaction or a service, or obviously your pets need your medical care, but it's just about being welcoming and thoughtful, and thinking as an owner, what is it that you would want, in that moment.
It feels good to do that.
It does. And that's, culture is contagious when you kind of define it and you live it and you have the right people, because it feels good. And that's something that I've seen over and over again, at Heart of Chelsea, is that everyone leans into it because it's a little bit like wildfire. Talk to us a little bit about Prospect Heights, though. That's your baby. That's super exciting. It's, it's your path to ownership and being an extension of the Heart of Chelsea network. So tell us about that journey, what the last year and a half has been like for you, Dr. Torchia, and excited to hear your vision for Prospect Heights.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been intimidating, but it's okay because I've had people. That's supporting veterinary ownership, right? That's the whole point of this company. So I've had so many people there for me and helping me make decisions. It was really interesting at first to be on this call with Suveto leaders and the architecture group, and they say, okay, Dr. Torchia, do you want the door to slide out or do you want it to open up? And just every tiny little detail that I got to have a little say in and a little point in, and it really does kind of make it feel like my own. And I just really want to see how it feels for the clients when I can bring the Heart of Chelsea culture into a new place and they can walk in and have that experience for the first time, and then hearing them say they want to come back and they're excited about us being a staple in the Brooklyn area. I'm excited for that.
That's exciting. What aside from those big decisions early on, what keeps you up at night now? Like, what are you worried about as you're leaning into this ownership journey?
I just want to do a good job, of course. Part of it that's starting to alleviate now is, will people show up? Was a big thought of mine. And I think that if we just do a good job and we focus on excellence and being excellent, it's going to happen. We're going to permeate into the group. It doesn't really feel like work exactly, because it's also new and fun and fresh. So it's mostly just excitement that keeps me up, I would say. And I just want to see, I can't wait to see how it becomes its own unique structure, because the culture it's very consistent among all the hospitals, but there's still just a tiny little, a special sprinkle that goes on each place.
Yeah, of course. That's and as it should be, right? Like there's a uniqueness and there's a personality to every location. You can have that core culture, but you also want to be, uniquely, your own extension of that. How do you approach finding the right team members to really bring this vision of Prospect Heights to life, as well as those that will embrace the Heart of Chelsea culture?
Luckily, as I've said, I don't have to do anything alone, which really makes, it's all important, but it makes it feel like we can accomplish it. And Mike Jerva, our director, has been doing this for a long time now. And he had a moment where he kind of sat us down at our last quarterly meeting where we're focusing on the business and talked about the importance of hiring and the hiring process. And if you hire well, then you don't have to worry about firing. And so that's what we're delving into. It's not just an hour-long conversation. It's not just, you've got the credentials, come and work for us. Is this a match? Can you buy into this culture? Because it's an every day, every hour, every minute commitment. Mm-hmm. And it's also showing new team members, this is what you get to be a part of.
Absolutely.
And I've been a part of it for almost 6 years, and I've been really lucky to do so. And so highlighting that is part of finding the team member.
Yeah, I think that's the key. It's not just about how do you find people that you want in that culture, but how do you make your culture so great that they want to join that you can communicate that to them, that they're excited to be a part of that. So where are we now? How many days away are we from opening, Dr. Torchia?
Less than a month, on October 14th.
October 14th?
Opening. Yes, the soft spooky opening.
Love it.
And then we're going to have a grand opening November 2nd, just a couple weeks.
Super exciting. Super exciting.
Just downstairs. So I run down and I peek in and I look, they put another cabinet up. And then I run out just on the way to the grocery store, stopping in. The piles up. It's exciting.
I love it. Can we podcast along the way? Like hear what it's like a couple months in? What have the first months been like? Like what happened that you didn't anticipate? What has been your greatest success so far? I'd love to follow you on this journey. And maybe sometime we could do like a video where you're walking down the stairs and we can see like how close it is. Like we feel like we're like vlogging our way through Heart of Chelsea, Prospect Heights.
Is that a recurring guest offer? It is a
recurring guest offer.
Okay, it's recorded.
Yeah. It's recorded. It's a recurring guest offer. Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. I'm feeling like this may turn into like, a co-host opportunity, Dr. Torchia. We may lean into like the entertainment, opportunity right within like the Suvetto network.
Did you hear that, Mango? He's sleeping next to me.
We're going to be like the next Regis and Kelly, like, or Kathy Lee, old school. I'm older than you are. So love it. So last, I always end with this, words of advice for a listener that wants to go to vet school, a vet student that is currently in vet school thinking that they want to find their forever home, the culture that they can lean into, they want to be an owner someday, or an associate that's listening that would like to be living above their future vet practice as well. Words of advice.
I would say you're never going to feel ready, but you can do it. If you aren't sure about a decision, usually that means you don't have enough information yet. And if you're moving forward to the next step, there is so much more support there that you're just not going to be alone. There will be people there for you in every situation. Vet school, undergrad vet school, becoming a veterinarian, and then managing ownership. And if there's anything I can do to let you know about my experience, please reach out.
I love it. And I will end with, and listen to your mother.
And listen to your mother. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Dr. Torchia, this was awesome. Thank you. Best of luck to you. It's going to be an exciting 30 days ahead. And I can't wait for our next time together.
Well, thank you. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.